You've shifted the agency's priorities primarily to pursuing Donald Trump's immigration enforcement agenda. According to ICE data, the Cato Institute, which is a conservative think tank, found that 20% of all agents have been diverted from their work to assist ICE immigration enforcement. 20%. Part of this operation is the work of mass law enforcement who jump out of cars, snatch people off streets at churches, schools, and their jobs and hospitals. Have there been any FBI agents who investigate crimes against children that have been assigned to immigration enforcement, yes or no?
The premise of what you say is entirely false.
Have there been any FBI agents who investigate foreign domestic terrorism?
You don't get to say America is not safer under this leadership.
I am not saying
America is safer because of the work of the FBI.
You're making a presumption of premise.
4,700 children.
Sir,
we have seen 6,000 weapons and 23,000 violent felons have been arrested.
That FBI agents who investigate human trafficking have been reassigned to immigration enforcement. You are not denying that FBI agents who are on the task force that fight against Russian oligarchs have not been reassigned. Public Correction Squad, reassigned. People who defend children, reassigned. You're not denying that. I've seen you time and time again attack my colleagues' premises of questions as a way to not answer the question. So let me end with this.
Welcome back to the Blue Brief. Before we get into this explosive confrontation, make sure you hit that subscribe button and give this video a like, because we have a lot to unpack today. What happened during this hearing was more than just another political disagreement. Senator Cory Booker came after FBI Director Kash Patel with a series of aggressive questions, challenging his leadership, his decisions at the FBI, and his relationship with the Trump administration. But Patel wasn't about to simply sit there and take it, and this is where things got heated. Booker accused Patel of undermining the FBI, questioned whether political considerations influenced personnel decisions, and even told him that he might not be around much longer. But from my perspective as a conservative, there is a much bigger issue here. Are we actually watching legitimate congressional oversight, or are we watching another political battle where both sides are using the hearing room to score points with their respective bases? Because once you look beyond the shouting, there are some very serious questions that deserve real answers. So let's break down exactly what happened.
I asked you whether you had any knowledge or discussions about removing FBI officials and installing political personnel before you were confirmed to that position. And I wonder, did you then understand or have conversations with the White House about the intentions to do so?
Before I was confirmed?
Yes, sir.
Did I have discussions with the White House to remove FBI personnel?
Yes.
No.
So you're saying that you had no discussions with the White House before you were in the position about the removal of any personnel from the agency?
As I was preparing for my confirmation hearing, I had numerous discussions involving the type of people that would be employed, and that those that were failing to meet the mark at the FBI would no longer be employed if I were confirmed.
And I'm assuming that mark had to do with loyalty to the Trump administration.
No, you're wrong.
Okay. I'd like to revisit another subject from that hearing. Did you testify, you did testify before the grand jury that President Trump had declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. Is that correct?
I don't have the grand jury transcript. That's why I released it. Whatever it says is the best evidence.
That's what you said to Senator Whitehouse, that your grand jury testimony was publicly released. It has not been. In fact, in July, a court denied a news outlet's bid to get that transcript. But the court said quite clearly that you are free to discuss your grand jury testimony. So I ask you again, did you testify before the grand jury that President Trump declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified document case?
And that is why I took your invitation to work with the department and the court to have that transcript released. And the transcript is the best evidence of what I said then.
So you're saying right now this committee can have access to what you said before the grand jury?
To whatever was released. Under my understanding, Senator, that the Department of Justice...
You and I both understand the law. Let me finish. I understand under Rule 6 of the Federal Rules of Procedure, a grand jury witness, in this case you, is not barred from sharing their grand jury testimony. This is an oversight hearing. This is germane to your integrity and credibility. You know right now whether or not you testified that President Trump declassified the documents at issue in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. Why are you refusing to answer that simple yes or no question right now?
Because the premise of your question is inaccurate, and
There is no premise to my question, but trying to get to an order of what is truth or not.
How do you
Did
know?
you?
How do you know what was asked in the grand jury if you weren't there?
Mr. Patel, this is a mockery you're making of this hearing and simple questions.
It's a simple question. If you have
Mr.
a
Patel,
transcript,
during
you can
your
read the
nomination
question, but you don't have
hearing,
it.
you promised that, quote, all FBI employees will be protected against political retribution. When I asked you, are you aware of any plans or discussions to punish in any way, including termination, FBI agents or personnel associated with the Trump administration, you explicitly said under oath that you were not aware of any plans to punish FBI agents associated with criminal investigations of Donald Trump. I don't believe you were truthful. Firing FBI employees based solely on the cases that they are investigating, their case assignments, is illegal, and you know that.
What both sides argued, and why this confrontation became one of the most heated moments of the hearing. What immediately stood out to me was the way Senator Cory Booker approached Kash Patel. Booker came into this exchange clearly prepared for a confrontation. He wasn't interested in giving Patel an easy opportunity to explain his position. Instead, he repeatedly pushed him with direct questions, particularly about whether Patel had discussed the removal of FBI personnel with people in the White House before his confirmation. Now, from a conservative perspective, this is where we have to be careful. If an FBI director is making personnel decisions based on political loyalty rather than competence, that's a serious problem. The FBI is supposed to enforce the law, not serve one political party. But at the same time, if an FBI director believes certain employees are not performing their jobs properly or failing to meet professional standards, that director should have the authority to make changes. The question is not whether people should ever be fired. The question is why they were fired. And that's the question that needs to be answered with evidence, not political rhetoric. Patel pushed back against Booker's characterization of the situation. He argued that conversations about staffing and performance are not the same thing as planning politically motivated retaliation. That's an important distinction. Then the hearing moved into another controversial issue. Booker questioned Patel about his previous grand jury testimony related to the Mar-a-Lago classified documents investigation. Booker wanted a simple yes or no answer about whether Patel had testified that President Trump had declassified the documents in question. Patel refused to provide the direct answer Booker demanded. Now, this became one of the biggest points of contention in the exchange.
I believe you have made our country weaker and less safe. I believe that we are more vulnerable to a major event, and I pray to God it doesn't happen. You've gutted the Bureau of Institutional Knowledge and Expertise. You fired or pushed out seasoned FBI officials, many with more than 20 years of experience, and were working on cases that were critical. You've been purging thousands of serious law enforcement officials who spent their careers keeping us safe, only to lower hiring standards in order to find anyone to replace them. And shockingly, you admitted in this hearing to Senator Coons that it would take 14 years to fill the vacancies at your agency. Many are the result of your purge. 20% of FBI agents are doing low-level immigration enforcement instead of their mission-critical work. You've disbanded entire task forces that stop election interference, foreign influence, public corruption. And who benefits from this? Well, corrupt people benefit from it. Criminals benefit from it. Vladimir Putin benefits from it. And it really makes me wonder who you're looking out for. It makes me think we can't trust you as a nation. You swear to release the Epstein files, but now you're withholding the Epstein files. You claim that you have a suspect in a serious assassination. Whoops, then you don't have a suspect. You know nothing about plans to remove FBI agents, yet you're directly involved in those plans. In the words of an ex-FBI official, You are overseeing, and I quote, generational destruction of the nation's premier law enforcement agency. Mr. Patel, in just 8 months, you have assaulted the institutional integrity of the FBI. But I know FBI field agents. I've worked with them in Newark. No matter how truly bad you are, you can't undermine the legacy of agents who fight every day to keep us safe, but you can tarnish the integrity of the agency and undermine the agency's capacity. I believe you're failing as a leader, and that your failure does have serious implications for the safety and security of Americans and our families. We're more vulnerable to domestic and foreign attack because of your failures of leadership. I don't think you're fit to hand the Bureau, but here's the thing, Mr. Patel. I think you're not going to be around long. I think this might be your last oversight hearing. Because as much as you supplicate yourself to the will of Donald Trump and not the Constitution of the United States of America, Donald Trump has shown us in his first term and in this term, he is not loyal to people like you. He will cut you loose. This may be the last time I have a hearing with you because I don't think you're long for your job. But I'm going to tell you this. I pray for you. I pray for you that you can step up and defend your oath, defend the Constitution, and do a much better job of defending this country. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Do you want to say anything?
Yes, sir. That rant of false information does not bring this country together. If you want to work on bringing this country, it's my time, not yours.
My God.
If you want to talk about
dividing this country,
it is
I
my
follow
time.
you on your social media posts that
It is
tear
my
this country
time
apart.
to address
There should be a
your
unifying-
falsehoods.
Oh,
You are an
you can try
embarrassment
all
to the
you
division
want
in this country.
to not
Senator,
take
it is
my
responsibility
time.
for what
You
you
had
have
your
said.
time.
Sir, you're
Your
making a
time is
mockery of this
over.
committee. Sir, you don't tell me my time is over.
You
The
know how
people
far
of New
we've
Jersey
come
tell me
since
what
you
my
tell-
time is.
Senator,
You can't lecture me.
You can tell me
Sir,
my time's over?
You may be the charge of the
I'm not
FBI,
going anywhere.
but I am not afraid of you, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Not afraid of you.
Mr.
Same
Chairman,
standard has to apply to everyone. If conservatives criticized a Democratic FBI director, Democrats would demand accountability. If Democrats criticize a Republican FBI director, Republicans will defend him. That's the political cycle. But the American people deserve better than partisan loyalty. We need to ask whether the FBI is actually becoming more effective at fighting crime. We need to ask whether experienced personnel are being treated fairly. We need to ask whether political interference exists. And we need to ask whether the agency is focusing on the threats that matter most to ordinary Americans. Those are legitimate questions, and they deserve legitimate answers. Then Kash Patel finally responded. Patel accused Booker of delivering a rant filled with false information and argued that Booker's remarks were contributing to division rather than helping the country. And that's when the hearing became even heated. The two sides began arguing over speaking time, with Booker insisting that the people of New Jersey, not the committee chair, ultimately determine whether he remains in office. It was an incredibly tense exchange. But here's the bigger picture I see as a conservative. Washington has become addicted to confrontation. Every hearing is treated like a boxing match. Every question is designed to produce a viral clip. Every answer is viewed through a partisan lens. And meanwhile, the serious problems facing the country remain. Americans want safer communities. They want an FBI that focuses on serious crime and national security. They want immigration laws enforced. They want government agencies to operate without political favoritism. And they want leaders who are accountable regardless of which party they belong to. So, yes, Kash Patel should be questioned. Cory Booker should be allowed to challenge him. But the goal should be accountability, not simply creating another viral political moment. And if there is evidence that Patel violated the law, investigate it. If there is evidence that FBI employees were unlawfully targeted, investigate it. If there is evidence that the FBI is failing to protect Americans, address it. But if the allegations are exaggerated or politically motivated, that should also be exposed. Because at the end of the day, the FBI belongs to the American people, not Republicans, not Democrats, and not any individual president. president. That's my take on this explosive hearing. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think Cory Booker raised legitimate concerns about Kash Patel and the FBI, or do you think this was another example of partisan political theater? And do you believe Patel's responses were strong enough, or should he have answered Booker's questions more directly? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the Blue Brief, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next political reaction. We will continue bringing you the biggest moments from Washington and breaking them down from a conservative perspective. Thanks for watching the Blue Brief. Stay informed, stay engaged, and I'll see you in the next one.